most amazing top 10. If you know what this channel is all about, then have an internet high five. If you don't, then my name is Danny Burke. You can follow me on Instagram down there, and this is Most Amazing Top 10. It's the channel where we take all kinds of weird and wonderful things from all around the world and put them into a nice little top 10 list so you guys don't have to. And today, we've got the top 10 scariest places on earth that you shouldn't visit. Unless you like being scared, in which case you should probably write these down. Now personally, I think the scariest place on earth is the exam room at school. I mean, that place still gives me nightmares. But apparently there's scarier places than that, apparently. So let's take a look at the best of the best and start off with our number 10, which is the Destitute Cemetery. In Guatemala City, they have run out of room for their dead, and if you can't bury in the ground anymore, you start building up. The graves at the La Verbena Cemetery is a real city of the dead, where graves have been stacked on top of each other over the years to save space. In the alleyways and roads, people have set up all kinds of shops and stalls to sell their wares to the families of the dead, who hold parties in front of their graves and pay local bands to play music. The creepiest part of it all is that the families have to pay rent after 6 years of $24 a year, and if they don't, people smash open the graves and dispose of the bodies to make room for more dead people. Wow. So I guess that answers the question, how do you make a graveyard creepier? You stack 10 of them on top of each other and then smash open people's graves randomly. Pretty scary stuff, but we're only just getting started. But let's talk about our number 8 now, which is Jacob's Well. Jacob's Well in Texas is just 12 feet in diameter and looks like a harmless pond. But if you swim in it, you're swimming above 120 feet of water. That's about the height of an 11-story building. This seemingly bottomless dark hole has attracted many divers over the years who have been drawn to the challenge of finding out where the eerie hole actually goes. Local legend claimed that one part of the hole actually required a diver to remove their oxygen tank to fit through a narrow gap, where the current then pulled them away from the exit. A total of 8 divers have actually died trying to explore Jacob's Well, and they probably won't be the last. So, we're at number 7 now, and it's the Overtoun Bridge. Located in Scotland, the Overtoun Bridge is over 120 years old, above a waterfall, and has been the location of many suicides. But not human suicides. Not a single person has died there, but since the 1950s, hundreds and hundreds of dogs have reportedly leapt off the bridge to their deaths. It's a totally unexplained phenomenon, with the only link between all the dogs being that they jumped in clear weather and were all breeds with long snouts. Today the total sits at 600 dogs, and they've even put a sign there that says "Dangerous Bridge, keep your dogs on a lead." Something very creepy is going on there, guys. Let me know what your theories are, but in the meantime, let's move on to our number 6, which is the Chapel of Bones. Sometimes old churches can be creepy, but this one takes the biscuit. Capella dos Ossos, otherwise known as the Chapel of Bones, is a 16th century chapel whose insides is completely covered in human bones. Specifically, they're the bones of over 5,000 monks. Apparently in the 16th century, the Portuguese town had 43 cemeteries that took up too much space. So, in order to create space, they dug up the remains of the 5,000 monks and carefully covered the walls of the chapel with them. The aim was to create a religious space that would be a constant reminder to everyone who walked in there of death, and hopefully steer them away from materialism. So guys, don't get too obsessed with your next iPhone or iPad, otherwise your parents might take you on a nasty little trip down to the Chapel of Bones. Ugh. Anyway, it's time for number 5, and it's the Hoia Baciu forest. Now this forest in Romania is referred to by locals as the Bermuda Triangle of the country because of the huge amount of paranormal activities that have been reported there over the years. Now these range from ghosts to UFOs and visitors expressing a deep feeling of anxiety when they walk among the trees, as well as the feeling of being watched. The forest really gained attention though in the 1960s when biologist Alexandru Sift took a number of pictures that showed strange, disc-shaped objects hovering above the trees. The terrifying tales all seem to center around one point in the forest, a circle totally devoid of trees, which theorists believe is the opening to another dimension. Now you guys may or may not believe in those theories, but one thing is for sure, I would not want to go for an evening stroll there. Now you guys let me know your thoughts on that as we move on to our number 4, which is the ghost town of Pripyat. On April 26, 1986, the Chernobyl nuclear reactor in Ukraine began an accidental meltdown that would contaminate 30 kilometers of land in all directions with dangerous radiation. The government evacuated over 350,000 people, and some places like Pripyat were deemed too unsafe for anyone to return. The result is a creepy ghost town that is frozen in time. It has been left exactly how it was over 30 years ago. Even the amusement park that was opened the day before the accident accident is just desolate. Now, some estimates say that humans won't be able to live there safely for another 600 years, but with a place that looks that creepy, I'm not sure anyone wants to. Alright, we're at number 3 now, guys, and I want to show you the hanging coffins. Members of the Igorot tribe in the Philippines have been burying their dead in coffins attached to the side of cliffs for over 2,000 years. A person is expected to carve their own coffin when they die. Their families then tie them with the other coffins on the cliff. Their religious belief is that they will be closer to their ancestors this way and have an easier passage to heaven. But there's also a more practical reason to all this, as it stops animals and grave robbers from defiling the graves. It's a very creepy place, and apparently as you're building up the courage to look up at the coffins, there's massive holes in some of them with the skeletons poking their heads out. We're at number 2, and it's the Island of Dolls. In the 1950s, a Mexican man named Julian Santana Barrera retreated to a wooded area on the outskirts of Mexico City to live out his life as a recluse. It was there that he discovered the corpse of a young girl and a toy doll floating in a canal next to her. He hung up the doll on a tree as a mark of respect to the deceased girl, but after hearing screams at night, he became convinced that the girl had possessed the doll. Julian began to hang up more and more dolls from the trees in order to appease the girl's spirit. He died in 2001, but tourists from all over the world have visited the site to continue the tradition of placing dolls to create one of the creepiest sites in the world. It's made even more creepy when I tell you that apparently some of the visitors say they can actually hear the dolls whispering to them. Alright, so we've looked at suicide forests, we've been creeped out by ghost towns, we've even seen thousands of dolls on an island, but now it's time for our number 1, and it's the Catacombs of Paris. Paris is known as a city of love, life and food, but beneath its cobblestone streets lies a creepy underground tunnel network that many people simply aren't aware of. The Catacombs are a massive graveyard with tunnels that snake and wind for over we here at Most Amazing Top 10 think it's definitely one of the scariest places in the world. Alright guys, that's all we got time for, but now it's time to hear from you guys in the comments below. Have any of you been to these places? Are they really as scary as they seem to me on the internet? And also, have I missed any good ones out? Let me know down below. In the meantime guys, you know the drill. Thanks so much for watching Most Amazing Top 10. Be sure, if you haven't already subscribed, to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all the great content we have on this channel. There's 2 videos floating over there. In the meantime guys, my name's Danny Burke. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. You've been watching Most Amazing Top 10. Take care, and I'll see you guys very soon.